All right, my next guest is the author of How Sweet It Is, Defending the American Dream, and she's also the lieutenant governor of the state or the Commonwealth of Virginia. Winsome Sears, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Oh, thank you very much for having me on.
Let me just say before we talk about the particulars of the book, we were just talking about this casually off air, that you and Governor Youngkin have become national leaders on issues like education. And I couldn't believe it that Terry McAuliffe, who's a seasoned pro, former head of the DNC, would come right out and say to voters, you moms and dads have no business in your kids' education. I mean, my God.
Yeah, I mean, here's what happened. He kept talking, and after a while, he kept saying what was actually in his heart. And unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the rest of Virginia, we understood that he could not be our governor, not at all, not again. And enough Democrats and independents realized that the Democrats had gone a bridge too far and their children mattered more than their party politics. And they voted for us for common sense in the future for their children.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the book. Uh, I'm loath to talk to governing officials about race and gender and all that, but your backstory is so incredibly compelling. Your faith is so incredibly compelling. At a time when you've got Vivek, however you're voting in the primary, if you're voting for Vivek or Nikki Haley or Tim Scott, there is a movement in this country that the media is either trying to ignore or denigrate, and that is conservative Republicans like yourself. They don't find your story interesting the way they would, let's say, members of the Squad. And look, it's cliche. We know why that is, but I think even with that, even with the media trying to ignore it, I think real people are gravitating towards it.
And that's it, you see. Real people with real common sense understand that these policies that the know everything, which really they know nothing very much, that they're trying to push through so that they can control our lives. They can tell us how to raise our children. They can tell us how we need to spend our own money. They need to tell us how to open businesses and conduct ourselves. I mean, they used COVID policy to really control us. I mean, they shut our houses of worship down. They shut down our schools. They shut down our businesses, and they told us which businesses were essential. They told us how we were going to worship, and they told us how we were going to educate our children. And the real people decided, no, that's not the way this works. That's not how any of this works in America. We are the people. We are of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we will tell you what happens, and elections have consequences. And we have that again this year in Virginia. We have the Senate up, and we'd like to win back the Senate. And we're working towards that. And I believe we'll get it. And we're going to keep the House as well.
When you see the rise of so many minority conservatives, I mean, it's a movement, okay? It is. The suburbs are as diverse as they've ever been. The Republicans are scary old white men who don't like you stuff. I don't think real people believe that anymore. I don't think real people who are looking at their taxes, looking at their, food bills, looking at what it means to fill up their car just to get their kids to school or to practice or whatever it is. I don't think real people are looking at that and going, wow, I really should be afraid of these scary Republican people who are talking about cutting my taxes, securing the border, promoting faith and family in this country, saying maybe some of these people in the education system are a little out of control. I would say normal people, regardless of race and religion, are saying that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, some of these Democrats, they have gone so far left. Not all of them, but some of them have gone so far left that if the earth was flat, they would fall right off. And that's not what the people want. We Americans, we want peace. We want everyone to be treated with dignity and respect. We don't want to be told that a woman is a man, that is not a woman is a man. what? None of it makes any sense. Up is down, right is wrong, and then we give you our children to educate them on the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, foundational issues that will help them in future life. And you're trying to turn them into something, someone we don't recognize. And then you just bring little Johnny back to me as if nothing happened. And now I have to deal with the fallout as a parent because you're secret things. So, yeah, people just as a whole want to be left alone. We're a free country. And by the way, get off my grass. I'm the one who pays the mortgage around here. So they'll figure it out. But I have consequences.
I only have about 3 minutes. We were also talking off air that the Appomattox schools are being sued by a grandmother who is a guardian of her granddaughter. The school socially transitioned Sage Blair without informing her family, which led to bullying. It led to assault. But it also led to her running away and being sex trafficked. This could happen in any county, in any city, and any state. This is a battle line between conservatives and progressives over parents' rights in education.
As a matter of fact, this past January, February, we, during our legislative session, tried to get a bill through to prevent something like this from happening where the parents, guardians, are not informed that the child is being transgender, whatever it is that affirmed in school and dressing a certain way and spoken to a certain way and keeping all of this from the guardians and when it should not be. Parents are supposed to be involved in the child's life. I mean, I am the parent, and we got it through the House. The House is Republican, but we could not get it through the Senate. The senators decided this was not important enough, and it was called Sage's Law. So, from what I understand, the grandma is going to sue the school system for keeping these secrets from her, and I guess it's alleged that it endangered her grandchild Sage to the point where she was sex trafficked. So all of this, I guess, will come out in the court, and we'll see what happens. But this is why we need to win elections, and this is why when yes, we keep saying this election is important, and you might say, well, politicians say that every year, but it is true. Each election builds on itself. And I tell you, the far left has really gone so far left that we don't even recognize what makes sense anymore, except some of us do. And we're not having it. And we're going to convince enough Democrats and independents to come along and vote for their own good, for their own children, for safety and security, and for businesses to want to come to Virginia.
Well, at the state level, you see in states like Michigan, you see it in Virginia, you see it in Maryland, you see it even in California. You see parents of all faiths, of all backgrounds, socioeconomic status, leave our kids alone. I think wise Democrats are probably saying we're going to lose on this issue. This is not a winner for us.